Good morning, y'all. This here's a Christian trucker, and I figured I'd bring a little message this morning. In life, in every life, a little rain must fall. Today we're going to talk about betrayal, darkness, depression. So, during the course of my life, I've had friends betray me. I've had family members do the same. You know, sometimes family can hurt you worse than your friends or even your enemies. Because when you open yourself up and you take that chance and you let people in and you become vulnerable, just let them know a secret and see what they'll do with it. You know, that's a good way to test somebody's loyalty. There's a little bit of sorrow in everybody's eyes that has lived on earth for any amount of time. You know, I have yet to meet one person that has not had something hurtful happen to them in life. And, you know, that's kind of the nature of life. We learn through our experiences. And there's been multiple times that people have turned on us for no good reason, or to what they thought was a good reason. You know, there was, of course, the time when we lost everything. You know, we were probably upper middle class, and then when my dad got down, we lost everything. I mean, we had friends at our house every day. People we thought we could count on. You know, we really thought that these were good people and good friends to have, but once the money is gone, once the beer is gone and the good times, these people all disappeared. We had two friends that stayed with us through the thick and the thin. You know, and they were the ones that you wouldn't think would put up with anything like that. But they were willing to help any way they could. But so, when you're around your buddies, your friends, your pals, you need to look around and just ask yourself, you know, what is their true ambitions? What are their true needs out of that relationship? Are they just there to have a good time? Because if they're there to have a good time, what happens when the good times stop? What happens when, you know, bad times roll in? You need to surround yourself with people that are going to be there whenever you need them. Because the people that are not going to be there, they're going to drain your resources, they're going to drain your spirit, and it's going to hurt whenever they disappear. Because you can grow attached to people, and you can draw false conclusions about those people, thinking that they're going to be great to have around, when in actuality, in the future, you're going to look back and say, man, I was such an idiot. You know, and I look back at a lot of my friends back then, and I'm thinking, man, I was so gullible, and I was such an idiot just to let that person anywhere around me. You know, whether it be a buddy or a girlfriend or whatever that might have been, you know, love is one thing that can make you out to be an idiot quicker than anything else. And, you know, I'll go ahead and tell you this little story and kind of give you an idea of the betrayal that I'm talking about. We had a friend, his name was Dale. Dale, he worked at a national park. Well, it was a state park, it wasn't a national park. Well, he was a groundskeeper of sorts, and they had been building some piers in the lake and all that. Well, they had got the lumber a little too long, and they had a bunch of 2-foot long 2x6s left, and they had them all piled up and were going to burn them. So my mom and dad, who was out there at the lake all the time with old Dale, they drank beer and talked and had a good time together all the time. You know, they thought Dale was pretty close to them, and they asked him, can we take those home? Are y'all going to use them? Because, you know, my folks, they were in the woodworks and crafts, and they were really crafty. And old Dale, he said, yeah, man. So my dad, this was after his body had been kind of messed up, and my mom managed to load up all these boards, take them home, and they unloaded them there by their little shop where they could tinker with them. Well, in a couple of days, the game warden, who was actually over this said state park, calls my parents and accuses them of stealing those boards. Alright, my folks, y'all don't know them, but they would never steal anything from anybody. That's one thing my family, you know, we may have drank and we may have done a lot of other things, but stealing is something that we would never have done, because we worked hard for our money and we played hard, but we never took from anybody anything that was not ours. We never tried to beat nobody out or nothing. And this is kind of one of those things that broke the camel's back. Well, I got home from work and my dad was telling me what had happened. And keep in mind, he was kind of hurt at the time. So I got a little red. I got a little mad, and I loaded up all them boards. And I went down there to that park, and there wasn't nobody there. It's a good thing. The good Lord knew there to let nobody be there. You know, I have not seen Dale till today. He did not back up my parents. He did not tell the warden that he told them to take it or anything. That was left on my shoulders. I went out there and I unloaded all of them boards, and I let him know real quick my thoughts about the dang situation. And, you know, everything was fine after that point, because me and this warden had been tight for a while. You know, me and his kids were tight, me and him were tight, and he knew I wasn't going to tell him no lie. And I said, you know, you need to check your help in a little bit. You need to rein him in. And that's just what people will do. Just the check that he was making there wasn't even $200 a month. And he had plenty of money, but he wasn't going to let that little check go. He did not value our friendship no more than that little small check he was getting from that little job at that state park. You know, and I think that's what cut the worst, because we thought this was a good guy. We thought he would stand up, and then to get my parents accused of stealing, it was bad. I mean, but, you know, as bad as that was, and as bad as some of the betrayals and stuff that I've had in my past have been, none of them compare to what Jesus went through. And this is going to be the heart of the message. Now, when Jesus was put on the cross, everyone denied him. You know, and Judas, one of the 12, turned on him and got him arrested. And then the rest of them scattered. And they were asked if they knew who he was. They denied him. After they had all seen all his miracles, they had walked the steps that he walked, our Savior sat on that cross alone. Only God to soothe him. And it's just, I don't know if that's the nature of humanity, that we need to expect people to fail. Because there's an old saying that I remember. It says, when you put your faith in people, they're going to let you down. You can always put your faith in Jesus, and he'll always be around. Because Jesus is always going to be there. You can always talk to him and let him help you. Because he knows what we've been through. He knows the sadnesses. He knows the joys. He had 30 some odd years here on earth to do things that we do. And yet he still decided to give his life freely for us. He had the power to call down thousands of angels and destroy the entire Roman army and empire if he so wished. But instead, he stayed on that cross and he perished, only to be risen in the third day, so that we can all be saved. For whoever calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. He did that for you and me and everybody else. When you look around at these people and you see the lives that they're leading, and you can see the despair in their eyes, but They will not take advice. They will not listen to you. They will not even try to do better. You know, it saddens you inside, and it brings you down. And I've been feeling kind of down this week, and I think the Lord wanted me to come down in order to make this message, because I've been thinking of a lot of stuff that's been in the past, and it's coming up to, you know, in my head for today. You know, it's just like everything's happening again today, this week. But I understand a little bit more now, because every sorrow that you have felt in your life, everything that you've witnessed, the Lord has witnessed thousands fold. I mean, his disciples, most of them were martyred after he passed and was risen. Many of the Lord's great helpers have been martyred through the years. There's countless stories of saints and so forth and so on that have given their life to spread the Lord's word, the message of salvation from one corner of this earth to the other. And, you know, you think you've been through sadness and you've been through loss. That's, you know, when people give of themselves and still end up losing their lives, it's a powerful thing. To give yourself to something that you believe so deeply. To give one's life to save another is one of the most honorable things that you can do in life. I'm not saying go out there and make yourself a martyr. You know, we all have to be wise, and we have to be aware that there are snakes in the grass that are ready to bite our ankles at any minute. There are wolves in sheep clothing that are just waiting on that chance to rip into our flesh and get away with it. That's the key. Most wolves won't attack unless they know they can get away with it. Every now and then they're hungry enough to tackle a bear, and they pay dearly for it, but hunger drives them. And I believe greed and darkness drives those that seek to do you harm. Darkness kind of creeps in on people really slow. All it takes is one or two things to go wrong. Somebody stabs you in the back or says something that's not true about you, and that darkness can start creeping in on you, and the next thing you know, you can slip into a depression. And I think that's one thing that's wrong with social media, because so many people out there can use social media against others and bring others down without looking them eye to eye, without looking at them face to face. That's the downfall of the human race. It's one thing to say something to my face. It's another to be on social media behind a keyboard and type something funky in, you know? Because you take a risk, because you might get your teeth knocked out if you say something to somebody's face. But if you're on a keyboard, you have a safety cushion there, you know? And you're bringing darkness into their lives, and people just don't realize how much it hurts some people when somebody says something negative about them. It can drive them way down. Some people live with a state of being down, and it's hard for them to come up. So y'all lift each other up with your words. Be good friends, be good people, believe in Jesus.